Witam Was bardzo serdecznie w kolejnym odcinku z serii Hogwarts Legacy. Moi drodzy, trochę misji pobocznych dzisiaj. Zaczynamy więc od rozmowy z Nati.
Are you ready to put an end to Harlow?
I'm ready to do what's needed to take Harlow down. I know you have a plan.
We must gather information from the friends of Mr. Bickle that Archie and Mrs. Bickle mentioned. Agabus Filbert, Otto Dibble, and Mr. and Mrs. Rabe.
All right.
I suggest that you speak with each of them while I head to the Hog's Head. I saw some Ashwinders heading there. And as my mother would never go near the Hog's Head, she is less likely to learn of my activities than if I were to wander the village questioning its residents.
Very well. I'll speak with them, see what I can learn.
I knew I could rely on you. We need to know how they are being blackmailed by Rookwood and Harlow. Meet me here after you have spoken with them. Hopefully, by the time you return, I will be able to move a bit more freely.
Okej, dobrze, to w takim wypadku idźmy porozmawiać trochę z ludźmi. Coś się dzieje nie tak. Mamy drobne przecinki. Ale powinno się to zaraz uspokoić. Są gdzieś tu. Podejdźmy.
Mrs. Rabe should be nearby.
To, że chyba trochę wyżej.
Oh, Isco, what have I done?
Mrs. Rabe, I wondered if I might speak with you about Theophilus Harlow. I'm a friend of the Bickles and I'm trying to gather evidence against him.
Poor Joanna and little Archie. And now Harlow has taken my darling Isco.
What do you mean? Why?
I'm a security guard at Gringotts, and my husband is a curse breaker for them. Harlow approached me about helping him extort my colleagues into giving him treasures from the vaults.
And you declined?
Of course I declined. Repeatedly. I thought they'd given up until I came home one night and found my husband gone and a note affixed to my door with a knife. The note stated that I only had a few days to reconsider helping with some banking needs and that my husband would appreciate it if I acted quickly. But the help Harlow wants is help that I cannot give, and my dearest Isco is paying the price.
Ciekawe.
Are you sure the note means that your husband was kidnapped?
What else could it possibly mean? Besides, I came home to find that someone had trampled the daisies in our garden. It may sound silly, but those were Isco's pride and joy. He would never have let that happen.
Have you helped Harlow since your husband was taken?
No, I'm worried sick about Isco, but he'd never want me to compromise my integrity. I also know that he's extremely clever. That said, I was hoping he would have escaped by now. It makes me concerned as to why he hasn't.
Why wouldn't Harlow extort your husband?
Isco's job is even more removed from the vaults than mine. He travels the world for the bank. He could do nothing for Harlow. I'm the one in the bank on a daily basis, which evidently makes me an enticing target for blackmail.
Thank you, Mrs. Rabe. Knowing the lengths that Harlow will go to is helpful, albeit more than disturbing.
Mr. Bickle was trying to help us, but now he's gone. I don't know what to do.
I shall do all I can to get evidence against Harlow, Mrs. Rabe.
Very well. Here's the note I received. You must be careful as well. Please don't put yourself in danger.
Some evidence worth hanging on to.
Thank you. I hope it's not too late.
Now, to find Mr. Bickle's other two friends.
Zobaczmy, co tam dalej.
Otto Dibble works at Gladrags. I should check that.
Please tell me you didn't take it. But
Mr. Dibble, may I speak with you? It's about Theophilus Harlow.
I've nothing to say about him. May I interest you in a stunning cravat today?
Please, sir, I'd like to help. I spoke to Mrs. Bickle.
You know the Bickles? All right, but we must be discreet. Can't have Mr. Hill hearing this.
I know Mr. Hill. He was kind to me the day of the troll attack.
Oh, he's a good man, but even he wouldn't understand about Harlow. It started a few weeks ago. I was distracted, reading a note, when you-know-who came into the shop. I hid the note behind the counter and offered to help him. He stared at me for a moment, then asked me to check on an order he'd placed. I went into the storeroom to check on what turned out to be a non-existent order. When I returned, he was holding the note.
What was in the note?
It was a note from Rosie Hill, Mr. Hill's daughter. You see, we've been, secretly engaged these past 6 months. We haven't told Mr. Hill yet. I dare say he has higher hopes for her. Harlow advised me in no uncertain terms that my relationship with Rosie, not to mention my employment here, depended upon my cooperation.
What did he ask you to do?
It all happened so quickly. In an instant, he took a very expensive scarf from the counter, pocketed it, and smiled. He said, "Your secret is safe as long as I can supply my lady friend with delightful items like this every so often." I've been able to cover for his requests until now with some creative bookkeeping, but I can't keep it up for much longer. I'm terrified to say anything. I could never live without Rosie.
I met Mr. Hill the day of the troll attack. He was kind to me. Why don't you just tell him?
He's a lovely man, but when it comes to Rosie, I fear he loses all perspective. He'd see this as a grave betrayal. I'd lose my job instantly, and Rosie as well.
What have you been doing to keep the extortion a secret?
Well, as I mentioned, creative bookkeeping, and I've also been trying to cover the costs with my own savings, but I'm running out of money. Of course, none of this bodes well for my efforts to improve my circumstances and to be worthy of Rosie.
Could you give me a bit more detail about the note? That might help me to identify it should I come across it.
It's on Rosie's special pink stationery. It has her monogram at the top, RH. That's how Mr. Hill would know it was real.
Thank you for telling me. I'm gathering evidence to take Harlow down.
I would love nothing more than to see him rotting in Azkaban, but be careful. He's an awful man and incredibly dangerous. As for Rosie's letter, should you happen upon it, I have committed it to memory. You may destroy it immediately.
Understood.
Zniszczymy to, co trzeba.
Mr. Hill returns. Where was I?
We're on the right track. Now to find the last of Mr. Bickle's friends.
Widzę, że przecinki zmalały. Coś się gdzieś podziało. Może to tylko obraz, który mi się wyświetla. Dobrze, moi drodzy, przejdźmy do następnej osoby.
Jacobus Filbert must be around here somewhere.
Jest i on.
Excuse me, Mr. Filbert. I wondered if I might speak with you about your dealings with Theophilus Harlow. I hope to ease Mrs. Bickle's mind by gathering evidence against him.
Tragic, what happened to Bickle. He wanted me to speak out against Harlow for an act of violence committed against me. But I feared Harlow's retaliation, and so I refused.
If you had spoken out against him as Mr. Bickle asked, perhaps Harlow would be locked away by now.
Perhaps. But perhaps I would have suffered a similar fate.
You said that Harlow committed an act of violence against you. Could you tell me what happened?
Before my extraordinary wife, Dulcibella, passed away, she had just completed a small book of poetry. As a surprise for her birthday, one she never had the chance to celebrate, I had the book beautifully bound and plated in gold. One day, Harlow came calling to punish me for having spoken out against the Neanderthals that comprised Rookwood's lot. Before I knew it, I'd been petrified, and Harlow was rifling through my home. He found the book of poetry, with its exquisite gold plating. I watched helplessly, lying there in my entranceway as he walked away with the book, laughing as he went. I was shaken to my core. Still am, to be honest.
I imagine you fear Harlow retaliating again, but do you mind if I share this information with Officer Singer?
I suppose I have no choice. This extortion can't go on forever. You can pass it on to anyone who may be willing to help. Harlow does not like people talking, as you already know.
I've spoken with Mr. Bickle's friends. Now to find Natty.
Czy ja wiem, że tak dużo się dowiedzieliśmy? Każdy z nich został szantażowany przez tego gościa. I tak naprawdę w sumie nic więcej nie wiemy. Spróbuję sobie to wszystko przegadać z Nati. Myślę, że Myślę, że powinniśmy ją jakoś przekonać do tego, żeby pójść dalej.
It's not like Natty to be late. She said she was going to the Hog's Head. Perhaps I'll find her there.
Coś ty zrobiła. Gdzieś ty poszła.
Natty must be around here somewhere.
Znacznik, to może tu pójdźmy po prostu.
Natty's wand. She can cast without it. She wanted me to find this. She's in trouble. Revelio will show me where she was taken. Revelio!
To mi ślady.
Nosy little students get what's coming to them.
Natty must have been taken this way. I need to find her quick.
Trzeba trochę zbić łbów.
Footprints led to this room. There must be another way forward. Accio! A hidden door. Revelio!
Rzecz tylko tutaj musimy dodać na szybko, w razie czego. Sądzę, że tak, to powinno. W razie czego nam pomóc.
Taken this way. I need to find her quickly. Revelio. I'd better be sure I'm not seen.
Tak się dziwnie.
Using that girl as bait, Alan's coming for her. We ought to just kill her.
Harlow says her friend will be reckless enough. He wants them alive.
Only a Hogwarts student would be arrogant enough to come in here alone.
Just keep an eye out.
It's been a bit grim, I won't deny, but the tides will turn for us.
Let's finish this job and be done with it. Waste of time, this is.
It's exhausting. Standing here all day waiting to do Rockwood's work for him. He can fight his own way.
The fog blighted us a bit, I'll agree. Nonetheless, we have good spoils for our efforts, and so should we hold our heads.
If I likes it, I takes it.
Yes, totalis.
You're going to regret that. Novice.
These are so giddy. And I should call myself
Expelliarmus. Disarm my wand.
Gdzieś jeszcze jest, lol. Jakie zbiorowisko tu mają rzeczy. Zarzucasz.
Yes, totalis. Revelio.
Coś jeszcze interesującego? Tak.
The book of poems that was taken from Agabus Filbert. He'll be thrilled to have this back. Revelio. Otto Dibble's love letter from Rosie. He wanted me to destroy this if I found it.
Widzę, że tu też jakieś boczne przejście jest. Iść na górę z powrotem.
We should speak to her again. Perhaps she'll tell us where we can find that friend of hers.
She's determined to say nothing.
Please.
Deal with her when he arrives.
Let me go, sir.
I'm bored up here.
Expulso!
Go, coward.
Might want to look up.
Take us to the meeting.
Expulso!
And you! Confringo! You've made a great mistake!
Expelliarmus.
No!
Depulso. Bombarda.
Coś przeciwnicy byli.
Revelio.
Tam są te kratki, to nas nie interesuje. Tam jeszcze jest coś do znalezienia. No, teraz się tu możemy. Jeszcze. Tu jakieś drobiazgi. Jeszcze jedna skrzynka. To potrzebne i tak tego nie zmieścimy. Dobra, idźmy dalej.
He must be here somewhere.
You found us! I knew you would realize I had left my wand for you. Speak to Mr. Rabe. He will tell you what you need to do.
I need your help.
Mr. Rabe, Daisy told me you'd
Taki
been
młody.
You spoke with my wife. How is she?
worried about you. Are you all right?
I am all right. Thank you for coming. These locks are cursed, and there's an anti-apparition jinx on the cells. Even Natty's skill with wandless magic cannot free us. I need you to find my wand.
Use mine. We'll find yours together once you're out of there.
I need my wand for this. Using one with which I have no connection may not work as well or as quickly, and we cannot risk detection.
I shall do my best. Any idea where it might be?
It's nearby. I can sense it.
Understood. I'll find it.
Your friend Natty was not able to summon my wand. It must be blocked by something.
Mr. Rabe's wand could be in there. Aloha, Mora.
I can tell.
Że tutaj będzie ta różdżka, co dalej?
Mr. Rabe's wand. He'll be glad to have this back. Mr. Rabe, I found your wand.
Well done. I knew it was nearby. Now, you best stand back. One never knows how a curse will react to being broken.
Tyle?
Thank you, Mr. Isco.
My pleasure. And thank you, my friend. We owe our lives to your bravery. I may be too weak to disapparate with you both, but I can try.
You go ahead. Find Officer Singer. We will get out of here on our own.
Very well. But be careful. Thank you, my young friends.
Be prepared for a fight. These Ashwinders must pay.
Tak, ale już wszystkich właśnie wybiłem, więc nie wiem, kogo mam, z kim mamy tu jeszcze walczyć.
Revelio.
Żeby ktoś tu jeszcze się nagle pojawił znikąd. Ale to niby ma być zaklęcie chyba. Może jakiś tłumiący albo coś.
Let's find Officer Singer and put an end to Harlow once and for all.
Dobrze, dobrze, zaraz to naprawimy.
Natsai Onai. I should have known. And you, the troll dispatcher. Oh, thank goodness the two of you are safe. Isco Rabe told me a couple of students had rescued him. Should have known it was you two.
Is Mr. Rabe all right?
He is. I sent him home to his wife. Miss Onai, your mother will not be pleased to learn that you're still risking your safety pursuing these dangerous men.
Actually, Officer Singer, Natty and I learned of several Hogsmeade residents who've had their lives threatened by the Ashwinders. In addition to abducting Mr. Rabe to blackmail his wife and Natty, Rookwood and Harlow have also extorted Agabus Filbert and Otto Dibble.
I will look into all of that. As for the two of you, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you are taking great risk. Next time, please let the authorities handle the Ashwinders.
With all due respect, officer, the authorities haven't done much about any of this.
There's more to taking down an organization like the Ashwinders than simply storming in and hauling them off based on a few accusations. I must insist that you leave them to us. We shall have no further discussion on this.
Ale groźno.
You may wish to speak with your mother about this before I do.
My mother will not like this. Thank you again for rescuing me. We shall speak soon.
Strasznie rozwlekłe to zadanie jest, żeby dostać się do tego głównego złego, powiedzmy. Dobrze, mieliśmy jeszcze jedno poboczne zadanie. Rozmawiamy. Nie wiem tylko, gdzie on jest. Gdzieś w Hogwarcie. Tak? To wygląda. A nie, poza Hogwartem. Gdzie mogliby się znaleźć? Przy zwierzętach oczywiście. Też głupie pytanie było.
The Ashwinders have ceased pestering me. I suspect that's your doing. Thank you from me and Rosie both. We're just leaving for our honeymoon, after we tell Mr. Hill of our recent marriage. Wish me luck.
Co nie?
Oh, good, you're safe.
Dlaczego mam być nie safe?
There you are. You were in such a state when you left.
The poachers got to my gran. Someone recognized me in Horntail Hall and they got to her.
What do you mean? Is she all right?
She's fine, thank goodness. But they were at her house, our house. They assumed I'd sent the egg there. She said they took the whole place apart looking for it, screaming that we'd cost them everything.
Straszne.
I'm sorry, Poppy. I'm glad she's all right. I don't think either one of us could have anticipated that.
I should have known. I underestimated the poachers. And now another creature's in danger.
What do you mean?
The poachers refused to leave empty-handed, so they took valuable journals that Gran had discovered when she was researching rare creatures. One of them contained theories about a secret hiding place of the Snidget, long thought to be extinct.
Where exactly are these Snidgets allegedly hidden?
Gran says the journals were a bit cryptic, which is good. Perhaps the poachers won't be clever enough to find the birds. From what she recalls, the journals only noted that the key to finding them lay in the moonlight. Gran thinks it can be narrowed down to a handful of locations.
Why would Snidgets be valuable to poachers?
They could make more money with Snidgets than they ever would have fighting dragons. The golden Snidget's feathers and eyes are incredibly valuable. That's why they're believed to be extinct. They were hunted out of existence by wizard kind. If the poachers found some now, I can't bear to think about the horrific way they'd be bred and killed for profit.
Exactly what kind of creature is a Snidget?
It's a small bird with golden feathers. It's incredible. It has rotational wings that allow it to dart quickly in any direction. In fact, the golden snitch in Quidditch is based on the Snidget, which barbarically was actually used in the sport hundreds of years ago.
I take it you aren't going to let the poachers anywhere near the Snidgets.
Gran wants me to stay out of it, but I know she's devastated that poachers might go after the Snidgets, if they still exist. We had the element of surprise on our side when we saved that dragon, but the poachers will be watching for us now.
We need allies. Others who hate the poachers enough to help us, who value creatures as much
Merlin's beard! You're a genius! The centaurs! They'd want the Snidgets protected at all costs.
Sounds as if we need to go and talk to the centaurs.
We'll need to be careful in how we approach them. Tensions with them are high. Still, I think they may be our only hope. Let me think on it. I'll let you know as soon as I have a plan.
No tak, to była tylko misja porozmawiaj. Jak odejdę kawałek, to może się dziewczyna domyśli i od razu nam przejdziemy do tego zadania. Ale nie sądzę. Także, moi drodzy, sprawdźmy, co jeszcze mamy tutaj. To jest dość daleko, bo to już sprawdzałem. Tutaj nie mam żadnych problemów. Tutaj mamy rozmowę z dyrektorką. Muszę aktywować tą misję. Nie sądzę, żeby ona od razu po prostu się zaczęła, bo i tak profesor Fig nam... Będziemy z profesorem Figiem się dalej tam udawać w dalsze miejsca. Także zróbmy jeszcze tą rozmowę. I wtedy myślę, że będziemy kończyć już pomału. Trochę pobocznych, trochę fabuły dla was, także coś dla każdego. Dobrze, porozmawiamy więc portretem, dowiedzmy się co i jak. W następnym odcinku prawdopodobnie podejmiemy się tej próby.
Hello, Professor. I have news. The goblins are looking for something. Another repository. They've built drills to help with their search.
Most troubling.
Are these repositories like the broken container I found at Rookwood Castle?
They are. I fear we have no time to lose. Have a look at the map. Fortunately, the next trial is fairly nearby.
It's Hogwarts.
As you know, I was headmistress in my time. My portrait hangs in the headmaster's office. In fact, I witnessed Professor Black learn of your arrival. And I'll confess that I wondered about you.
Wait, is the next trial in the headmaster's office?
It is. I had hoped that when the time came, the occupant of that office would be of help to us. Unfortunately, this headmaster seems wildly unconcerned with anything but himself. You'll need to access the office while he's away.
I understand. Very well. I'll find some way to get in.
Good. I shall meet you in my portrait there. Until then.
How will I gain access to the headmaster's office? Perhaps Professor Fig will know what to do.
Handy resource indeed, your field guide.
If I could undo all that happened that day, I would!